Hello, LEC. We're so excited to have you here. We're interviewing our nominees for the Educator of the Year Award, and we are so super excited to have everyone here in this conversation. My name is Deanna Munoz. I'm the Civic Engagement Fellow with Latinx Education Collaborative, as well as the founder of Latino Arts Foundation. And I am so honored to be able to introduce to you Dwayne Matin-Gomez. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Dwayne Matin-Gomez, and I'm excited.
We're so excited. Give us a little bit of background about who you are and your education.
Awesome. Well, currently, who I am a ninth grade special education teacher here, teaching at KIPP NYC in the Bronx, New York City. I am originally from Phoenix, Arizona. I have my parents, both of them were born in Guatemala, and I come from an immigrant background. Growing up in Arizona, I spent majority of my life there before moving here to the city. And one thing that has always stuck with me, no matter what the challenges have been, was always education. And my family definitely instilled those values in me of, you keep on learning. You are getting the education we never had, and that is part of my identity as well, is my education, coming from an immigrant background. And currently I identify as a queer teacher as well, because I think for me my identities are everything that I present. They're not mutually exclusive. I am as a whole, just the way that I see my students as a whole.
I absolutely love that. Representation matters. And thank you for sharing that because that is so important and especially to our LEC community. So thank you for all the work you do. So tell us, how do you feel about being nominated?
I think I'm just very not. I don't even know like what the correct word is to describe. And I think the first thing I can say is that I'm definitely like just humbled, because and this is a profession that I hear a lot of other teachers talk about. It's like, if you're in here for the paycheck, you're in the wrong profession. And that's definitely has yet to cross my mind about like, oh, I'm here to make money. But it's, for me, more about what I want to be teaching other students and other people in general, because education has got me this far. So without it, I'm like trying to pay it forward in a way. And so this is just another like recognition, and just another like motivator, if anything, about what it means to be an educator.
Absolutely. We are super excited that you have been nominated. How can we build the right conditions for the advancement of Latinx youth?
The right conditions, it definitely has to begin with systematically being able to recognize that diversity lies within the strengths, the demographics of students. And this is something that I have been researching even on my own time, and working even more with like emerging bilinguals, because one thing that I definitely, even going up from my own experiences and that of my families, is there's already richness in ancestral knowledge, the generational wealth in in knowledge as well, and being able to use being multilingual as a strength in its own right. And however, I think that a lot of that is cut out throughout the educational experience here, living in the United States, because of the acculturation and other policies that, students must learn English in order to thrive. But both can exist at the same time. You can learn. I teach in a classroom, for example, in ways in which students who are from the Caribbean, like Dominica Republica, Puerto Rico, and other places where Spanish is, much more spoken widely. And here, I have the luxury of being able to speak, have a bilingual, bilingual classroom for my students, and recognize that, when we have our colloquial conversations, that is just as valid as having our academic and professional like language that, we're letting them or pushing them to speak in. And so those are, they just exist the same way inside the classroom, outside being spoken at home. And that would not have been possible without having seen that this is a growing demographic in our school network that needs to be valued, needs to be invested in. We need to have libros and authors that have written and spoken on young adult novels, with different background experiences. And so when you're investing in those sort of stories, you're also investing in the stories of like your own students who can see themselves again in, writing their own narratives, which goes back to the systematic. Is like, unless you're not seeing what this looks like, then you're not providing that support. And the last thing that I would say is having more of people who want to be able to support students and become allies and become co-conspirators, and being able to say, this is a student that may not know the language, but I'm teaching them a specific subject, whether it's math, biology, ELA. Like, we all have to have those uh, wide variety of images and posters, and a cultural like loving language, and wanting to support other people, because when you celebrate differences, you're also celebrating the growth of yourself.
Oh my gosh, absolutely all of it. And in the way that it all coexists and you're just building upon that. I mean, that's power within itself, right? That our youth sometimes don't realize like the amount of power they have within them. And people like yourself is what is like, you got it. You're just there to help advocate for them.
Yep, exactly. Just like there, it's like we all come with our own strengths, and I'm just there to like uplift it and make it seem like, this is something that you already have a skill in, and it's transferable. Like, you're already building these skills that you need to know after high school, but you're with me now in ninth grade, and I'm like, this is just the beginning.
I wish I had you as a teacher. I wish my kids had you. You're phenomenal. Okay, our last question is, with all this amazing work, like what keeps you going?
What keeps me going is I think there's two answers to that. One is like I feel like there's just like the systemic, not only like racism, but like the disconnection in which the knowledge that is being taught, and the lack of relevant cultural pedagogies that I see inside of classrooms and other academic spaces, in which I want to narrow that gap, and being able to say, these are students with varying backgrounds, and they also have the space. We also have the space in academia for more stories, more narratives, more just diversity in general to be taught in classrooms, whether it's here in the city or whether it's a place in rural New York. Because even within not only a country or a county or a state code, there are ways in which all of this can coexist. And then the other one is that one is more like my professional response. My personal response is, again, to my families, and having that education that they were not afforded to, in order to the sacrifices that they made for me and my siblings to have the education. I'm the first one to have attained my master's. I pushed my siblings, and I'm still pushing them, to continue higher education, if that's something that they want as well, because there are other ways and for them to become successful in their own right. And however, I think that the education, that values that my parents instilled, and that I want for people to be literate in science, in knowing their rights and understanding, especially within the immigrant community, if I am stopped, what do I need to do? Like, those are ways in which I want to bridge that gap, and being able to say, this is what I know, this is how I can do to help, and how I can advocate for myself. Because that is something that I know I have been privileged in accessing, but if I'm not uplifting my community, I'm not uplifting myself. And if I'm not uplifting myself, I'm not uplifting my community.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely perfect. I'm going to add one thing.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell the Latinx youth everywhere around the world? Like, what is it that you just want to say for your last message on this live?
First, you are beautiful. You are meant to exist and have a place in this world, no matter where you are, and that there is no borders that will keep you from learning, because once you learn, as Frederick Douglass said, when you learn to read, you will forever be free.
Absolutely. No better way to end this. It is so nice to meet you, Dwayne. Congratulations and all the luck to you. And thank you for all the work you do. Truly,
Thank
truly
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yes. Thank you, LEC. We are so excited and we'll have more to come. So thank you, Dwayne. Everybody have a great afternoon.
It was like us and Dwayne. We're sitting there like in the arena in Las Vegas, like.
When I started this LEC community,